One of the concerns of this week's Parsha is, of course, who the Cohen will be marrying and who the Cohen Gadol will be marrying. In other words, who the priest gets to marry and who the high priest. They can't marry a divorcee. They can't marry somebody who was, uh, what do they call it, promiscuous.
What?
Promiscuous. In other words, who's had relations with a lot of guys, or somebody who's been in a relationship with a non-Jew.
That didn't exist back then.
It existed, but not among Jews. Okay, guys. But the point is why does the Torah care about who the Cohen or the priests get to marry? What's the big deal? I mean, there are people who, like they see somebody they like and they should marry that person. Because the answer is who they marry will affect how they behave. Uh, anybody who's married knows your spouse has an effect on your life, either for the good or for the bad. When we go to Parshat Korach, we see that one of the problems that Korach had was his wife was egging him on because she wanted to be like Zipporah. But the fact was, she didn't realize that Zipporah was not in it for herself. But, so she egged on Korach, and we know how that story ended. So we want to be careful. And also remember that the Torah is speaking out against Avodah Zorah. In the idol worshippers of the day, they said, you marry whom you love, nothing else matters. The old issue of same-sex marriage, the Greeks did not have same-sex marriage, but love was between men. Marriage was for children. That was basically it. I know it sounds weird. But the point that the Torah is making is the Kohanim, the priests, are the spiritual leaders of the Jewish people. How they live their life will determine the spiritual nature of the Jewish people. And that's very much more important. That, I used to live in Tzfat, and the Chabad Yeshiva had this huge sign of the Rebbe on the northern wall of the yeshiva. Why was that? Because they were davening away from the Rebbe. In Tzfat, you daven to the south. And when somebody complained about it, I said, if the Rebbe tomorrow was to commit averot, how many Hasidim would he have had? In other words, his whole tenure in office was based on his behavior. Was that something to think about? And let's see. One short? Okay.